Thanks, Beth, and thanks everyone for coming out today. As Beth said, we're always looking to showcase people doing interesting things in the community. So if you have ideas, if you are involved with organizations, please let us know because these Lunch and Learns survive and thrive because of people like you. So keep us in the loop on that. Today, very excited to welcome our guest, Laura Kunkel. She's the Executive Director of America in Bloom, and she's been there almost 25 years. And America in Bloom is a national nonprofit, and they're dedicated to promoting community well-being. And they do that through environmental enhancements, education, volunteer involvement, a lot of things that make a thriving, vibrant community. And that's actually how we got involved with them. I'm working with a couple of community groups. I plant pollinators. I run a nonprofit that plants wildflowers. We were working with a group in Detroit, and they said, oh my gosh, you should talk with America in Bloom. They're active in the community and have provided grant monies and ideas and support. And so I called up Laura and said, would you be willing to come on up? And so she made the drive from Columbus to talk to you all. So a little bit about Laura. As I said, she's been the Executive Director of America in Bloom for 25 years. But she's also the president and CEO of Second Wind Management. And they are a management company that works with nonprofits and helps them achieve their potential. And so a real hands-on company. So she's wearing two hats. But for America in Bloom, they've been active in Michigan on the west side of the state. They've been active north of Detroit, but not too much right here in the Plymouth, Canton, Northville community. We thought that that would be a ripe type of place, the type of people, the active community that might work with a group like theirs. So without more preamble, let me introduce Laura Kunkel.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a real honor to be here. I am from Columbus, Ohio, and I sometimes say that quietly because I'm so close to Ann Arbor, but it is a real joy to be here. I love Michigan. I think it is probably one of the most beautiful states in our country. You should be so proud to live in Michigan and all the wonderful things that are going on here. America in Bloom, as David mentioned, began 25 years ago. I've been around since day one when America in Bloom was just an idea. It was a group of horticulture professionals who got together. They were sort of lamenting the state of the industry and that we weren't able to connect people to the benefits of flowers, plants, and trees. We know that plants are pretty, but they're more than pretty. There's economic benefits, human health benefits, there's environmental benefits. So we started the organization as a way to connect at the grassroots level about the benefits of beautification. As I mentioned at the start, it's a real honor to be here and talk to you about what America in Bloom is doing. Perhaps it will spark some interest from you in how you can make your community a more beautiful and vibrant place to live, to work, to play, to learn, to serve. So what is America in Bloom? As we are a national nonprofit, we envision communities across the country as welcoming and vibrant places to live, work, and play. We think that happens through colorful plants and trees, but we think heritage preservation is important. Environmental stewardship is important. We know that volunteer engagement is key to all of it. Municipal staff cannot do everything. It takes volunteers who want to make their towns more beautiful. And so we help communities really activate volunteers. Our mission is to promote nationwide beautification, that is through, as mentioned on the screen, through education and community involvement. This is where we focus. We know communities have a lot of things they need to focus on. We help communities get better in these areas. Floral impact, that wow that comes with flowers. You know when you drive through a town and there's flowers, like wow, your eyes light up. It's that first impression, that burst of color. That matters. Landscaped areas, urban forestry, environmental initiatives, community vitality, celebrating heritage, and overall impression. And I'm going to talk about these a little bit, and I'm going to show a lot of photos today to inspire you about things other communities in Michigan and around the country are doing, inspire you about what you can do in your own yards, in your own communities. We've been involved in 370 communities around the country. That's 44 states there. Really would like to get in Hawaii. We're working on it. We did pick up South Dakota for the very first time this year. Little Esteline, South Dakota. It's fewer than 400 people, and they got involved. And it's volunteer-driven there. It's exciting what's happening in South Dakota. Michigan. We have a lot of participation in Michigan. Here's all the communities that have been involved in American Bloom over the last 25 years. You're certainly going to recognize some of these names. There's a lot of communities in Michigan. Just going to pause there so you can have a look. All right, so how does American Bloom help communities become more beautiful and vibrant? First way we do it is we publish free a Best Ideas book. It's a digital book now. It's available online, and it's tips and tricks from communities around the country on ways that they've gotten to be more vibrant, more beautiful, to really embrace sustainable solutions. That's free to you on our website, and we try to publish that every year. We do a monthly newsletter. It goes out to about 20,000 people. Online resources, if you're looking, for example, how to start a hanging basket program or a dog park or a mural program or a pollinator park. Excuse me, how rude. So I thought I had turned that off. Actually, spam, they somehow get through, don't they? All right, anyway, so if you're looking for ideas on how to do something, you're gonna find a lot of online resources. That is free to you, whether your community is involved in American Bloom or not. That's free to you. But most of our work is done through our programs, and I want to talk about those today. All right, so how does the American Bloom program work? We really want to celebrate your community. Each of your communities are doing remarkable things, but how do we help you go from good to great? That's what we're about. That's what we are here for. As mentioned, we're in 370 communities in 44 states. American Bloom brings together people. It encourages community involvement in coordination with municipal leadership. It's about an ongoing commitment to beautification, environmental stewardship, heritage preservation, and community vitality. It fosters better cooperation because everyone works together. Instead of working in silos, you work together. Wouldn't that be nice if we all worked together to achieve common goals to make our community the very best that it can be? That's what American Bloom does. What we do with the American Bloom program is we send a 2-person team of professional advisors to your community in the summer, and they would spend a couple days there, and they want to see the good, the bad, and the ugly of your town. Every town has the beautiful parts. Every town has those parts you want to hide. Don't hide those parts from us. We want to help you get better. So show us those parts of town that you really wish nobody saw. Our advisors are amazing. They are the rock stars of our program. After they spend a couple days in your community, they're going to go home and they're going to write a report. This report, we've been told you could pay consultants about $50,000. You probably wouldn't get anything close to what we're going to provide you, and we're going to do it at a fraction of the cost. This report is an action plan. You can take it, highlight it, and you have a true action plan to get started on making your town more beautiful, because they've come in, they've assessed where you are, and they're going to give you concrete ideas on ways to get better. That is a really nice short-term and long-term action plan and strategic plan, if you will. Our advisors are landscape architects. We have some mayors who serve as our advisors, city managers, horticulturalists, environmentalists, urban planners. We have heritage preservation architects. It is amazing the knowledge that they bring to communities to really help you give specific ideas on ideas that will work for your community. A community that's very small will have different needs, different resources. A large community, the same thing, different needs, different resources. And our advisors then will give you really targeted, concrete action plans that you can use. Also, the cool thing about the American Bloom program is you're eligible for national awards. You're doing remarkable things in your community, so why not get national recognition for what you're doing? Whether it's to recognize volunteer work, municipal staff work, your nonprofits and the wonderful work that they do. So it's a wonderful way to get recognition. Then in the fall, we celebrate at our annual conference. It moves around every year, but look where we're going to be this year. Come on, guys, it's in your backyard, basically, right? All right, so I would love for you to come. You don't have to be, your community doesn't have to be in the American Bloom program to come to the symposium. In fact, that's a lot of ways how it's sort of the first step for communities is they come to the symposium to learn about what we're doing, meet communities that are in the program and how are they doing it. It's an inspiring 3 days. We do really fun educational sessions. We go out into the community and do these learning tours that are so inspiring and man, you're just like taking notes all the time about things that they're doing that you could do. And then we also give out our national awards at that time. I'd really love for you to come. It is an amazing conference full of people just like you who care deeply about your town. One of our other programs we offer is the CN Grant Program. CN is a Canadian national, a railway company. They bought up a bunch of U.S. rail lines, and they came to us in 2014 and asked if we would administer a grant program similar to one they have in Canada. And it is a competitive grant program where we award $25,000 grants to communities along CN's railway. CN doesn't operate on the west side of Wayne County. I think maybe BNSF is on this side perhaps. But if you have colleagues and friends who are on the east side of Wayne County, CN has a ton of rail lines through there. And so I really would encourage you to talk with your friends and colleagues about this opportunity to apply for this grant. And this is, in fact, Dave referenced, he's working with some people on applying for a grant in the Detroit area. In fact, this is Michigan communities that have received grants. You can see some of those are, in fact, are from this Detroit area. So we've been able to, what is that, 15, 20 cities there? You know, we're talking, I can't do the math quickly, $500,000 we've been able to put into communities along CN's railway here in Michigan to help beautify communities. Those are impactful, that's impactful money. At the height of COVID, I got on a plane and flew to Chula, Mississippi. It's about an hour from Jackson, Mississippi, actually a little north. It's the poorest town in the poorest county in the poorest state. So things are tough in Chula, Mississippi, but the people that live there are wonderful. They are fabulous people who care deeply about their town. And so they earned a grant, and that was a transformative grant for them because most of Chula was asphalt or gravel, not a lot of green yards. And so when we were able to go in there and give them $25,000 to plant a veterans park, that was amazing for them. It was really the only green space the families had to play in together. That mattered. So that's the power of parks and green spaces. Plants are pretty, but they're more than pretty. I'm going to play a couple videos for you to talk to you about how American Bloom is impacting communities. This is Logan, Ohio. It's in the Appalachian part of our country. Things were tough in Logan. They were really, really struggling. So they decided they would sort of rally together, and they got involved in American Bloom because they knew it would bring people together, and they would try to save their town. And so this is their story.
Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless the seeds I sow. Someone warn them.
Logan, Ohio. They saved their town, and it's remarkable what they have done. All right, and by the way, that was put together by the high school kids. You know, I think that's pretty cool. And they talked about the kids wanting to have their prom in their downtown. What kind of kid wants to do that? But what Logan has done is they've made the kids a part of the change. They're on serving in leadership positions on committees. Are any of us doing that, having high school kids serve on committees? That's really important. Logan has done that. And so the kids are involved in the transformation that's happened in Logan. And now they want to stay here instead of leave Logan. They want to stay because they've been a part of making it a fabulous place to live. Castle Rock, Washington. This sits at the base of Mount St. Helen. It was a logging town. It was a dying logging town. And they had 90% vacancy rate. That's scary. But they got involved in American Bloom, and this is their story.
Well, you know, Castle Rock was basically a logging town in its day. With the lumber industry declining over the years, it's tough for business to survive in a small community.
If you're going to have a town that's going to be economically viable, you need to have a marketing plan that attracts the customer to come into your town. And I look at the American Bloom program as that marketing plan. Flowers make people happy, and you know that you want things to look good to get that sense of pride and accomplishment in what you do. Those positive notes going in made it worth a try.
I remember the first year American Blooms, I was having dinner with the judges, and he said, you know, you're not going to see much results in the first year, maybe 2 years. Might take 3 years, but he said, you're going to see some things happen. Well, I don't think it took 2 years when we saw the economic benefits. We've had businesses say that they've came and located in Castle Rock because it's so beautiful to be there.
We work at Rice Canoe Credit Union. We come out and we do this every single year.
We want to make our town look beautiful. People driving through Castle Rock and saying, wow, what a gorgeous town.
I've known Nancy when she had the nursery, and you can't ask for a harder working person. And with that hard working, she brings a great following of people. And with her American Bloom team, it's unbelievable the work they do. And what's great about it is a lot of them don't even live in the city of Castle Rock.
We get people that say, I've lived here for 20 years and I've never seen it looking so good. Van loads of tourists will pile out and take pictures. All of those things just make the town have a very positive vibe. And when that happens, then they are tending to want to come in and shop and spend money. And then the people that live here permanently have a lot of pride in the response that the flowers get.
By working together and making our town beautiful, it feels like we're a family. We draw closer together.
My kids have helped plant bulbs and flowers and things, and so when we're going around town, they're looking for the areas that they've planted, and I just think it just instills a sense of pride and ownership in where you live.
It makes me feel like we've done something worthwhile.
I don't want it to grow to be a big city, but instead of being a sleepy little retirement town, to be a little more pleasant place to come. And I think with our trail systems and parks and the work we've did over the last 5 or 6 years, I think we've made it a kind of a destination point.
That's Castle Rock, Washington. This is what they look like after their first year involved with us. The first year they got involved, they decided they were just going to start by putting some baskets out and some planters in front of businesses and really beg the businesses to water. And the businesses did, with some hounding, I think, from the volunteers. Hey, don't forget to water the flowers. That was a wonderful first year effort for them. That was their first year. This is what they look like now. It's remarkable. As Nancy on the video mentioned, van loads of tourists, let's say bus loads of tourists come through now. Plants are pretty, but they're more than pretty. This is economic development. This is tourists coming in and spending their dollars in Castle Rock. And they went from 90% vacancy rate to busting at the seams. Everybody wants to invest in Castle Rock, wants to live in Castle Rock. It is remarkable the change that has happened. Now, Castle Rock has figured out the flowers and the landscaping, but where they're still working on is the heritage preservation, and that's fine. They wanted to just sort of start going with flowers because they knew the wow that comes with flowers, but now their focus is working on their heritage preservation. They have incredible history in that town. They're at the base of Mount St. Helen. The volcano erupted, 40 years ago or something, just last week. They have an amazing history to tell, and they're learning how to do that better through the help of American Bloom. Our advisors are giving them some really great recommendations on how to improve in that area specifically. Ottawa, Illinois, about an hour from Chicago. They look like before and after being involved in American Bloom. Now we know this doesn't happen overnight, and they got a grant. I know the money matters. But if you were gonna invest in Ottawa, I know where I feel like my money would work. Or if I was gonna live where I'd feel safer, if I was gonna shop where I would wanna shop. Plants are pretty, but they're more than pretty. All right, so let's dig into the areas of America in Bloom. Floral impact, landscaped areas, urban forestry, environmental initiatives, community vitality, celebrating heritage, and overall impression. All right, flowers. This is a big city, but American Bloom is in big cities. I think that's perhaps Indianapolis, and we're in small towns. We want communities to embrace the power of flowers, and we'll give you ideas on how to do that, how to pay for it. This is Madisonville, Kentucky. When they got involved, they started planting petunias, and people liked the petunias. They were pretty, so they kept planting pink petunias every year they were involved. And then, if we could see deep, deep, deep into that picture, we'd see that the petunias kept going, and they realized, this is cool, we're gonna name it Petunia Boulevard. Aha, we have a trail. Everybody likes their wine trail, their beer trail. What about Petunia Boulevard? So now people come to drive down Madisonville's Petunia Boulevard. They're spending their money in Madisonville because of a silly pink petunia. Plants are pretty. Chicago, beautiful city. American Bloom helped them become even more beautiful. So we can work in big cities and we can work in small towns. I'm not going to talk about every photo, although I could because I get excited about each of these towns and what they're doing. But I want to inspire you and give you some ideas. On the left is Arroyo Grande, California. This was an ugly bridge that separated two parts of the town. Their Bloom committee decided they'd put some baskets and containers on the bridge just to dress that up, make it look nicer. What they realized is that cars used to zoom across that bridge. Now the cars slowed down because it was pretty. So while the mayor may say, we don't need flowers, yes you do, that's public safety, those cars finally slowed down. Those plants did more to slow traffic than the speed limit sign did. Plants are pretty. Landscaped areas, shrubs, grasses. If you have industrial parks, any of you have industrial parks in your community? So we'll give ideas on how to make those more beautiful. Sometimes they're not the most attractive areas. They should be. These are key economic areas of your community. Urban forestry. Trees are important. We should hug on them. We should protect them, inventory them, manage them, take care of them, celebrate them. How many of your communities, do you know, are you a Tree City USA city? Okay, if you're not, it's easy to achieve, and it's a goal that's attainable. It's an important goal. We need to take care of our trees and improve our tree canopy in each of our communities. Any of you have your growth award from Tree City USA? Love for communities to strive for that. That's beautiful. Bottom right, I believe, is Homewood, Illinois. The entire city is considered an arboretum. That's how well they've managed and really taken care of their trees. Environmental initiatives. We have to take care of our natural environment, and American Bloom will give you ideas on how to do that better. We'll take an inventory of what you're doing, give you some ideas on how to get better. Now, this is, I believe, Edmonston, Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. And they have really engaged the youth in their environmental initiatives. They're part of the Green Team. And Edmonston is on the Anacostia River. So that's very important. The water is very important to them, and they know they need to manage and maintain that water safely. And so they've done a wonderful job using kids as the driver on improving the environmental initiatives in this community. It's remarkable what they've done. This is a town of maybe 1,100 people. On the right, bottom right, is Arroyo Grande. That was the city that had the bridge. They're on the central coast of California. Fire is a very real concern. Perhaps not a concern for us in Michigan and Ohio, but boy, if you're in California, fire is scary. And so their committee, in collaboration with the city, planted this restoration garden at City Hall. And it's a beautiful garden, but what it demonstrates is how you can use landscaping to resist fire. That educates residents, but it also educates the millions of people that drive that Central Coast every year. Plants are pretty. Community vitality. We want people to be active and outdoors. We want communities to have art centers and libraries and things that enrich a community. And American Bloom helps communities become stronger in this area. How many of us have dogs? Only 2 of you have a dog? Well, those of us have dogs, we take our dog everywhere, right? Okay, it's big business. So if you're a pet-friendly community, you can make big money on pets. But you have to have good policies that back up that if you say you're going to be a pet-friendly community, you have to live the promise. You have to have good policies in place. Any of your communities have a community garden? Wonderful. I'm glad to hear that. Celebrating heritage. American Bloom, the name Bloom, and I talk a lot about flowers. I love flowers and trees and plants, but we are about more than that. We are about heritage preservation. Every community, regardless of its age, has heritage that should be celebrated, protected, recognized, and American Bloom will help you identify your heritage, give you ideas on how to protect it and how to celebrate it. This community uses public art murals to tell their history. West Chicago, 80% Latino in West Chicago, and they are celebrating all the time their culture and their heritage. It's so fun to go to West Chicago because they're so proud of who they are and they celebrate. And I want every community to celebrate who you are. Overall impression. This criterion has to do with sort of the tidiness. Are things in good condition? Are they clean? That's nice. The sidewalk's in good shape, nice fence, good banner program. I wish my community, was stronger in this. And so working on giving them ideas. This is a first impression. When you drive into a town, if it's not clean, you're going to keep on driving. Why would you stop there and spend money? Litter, graffiti. Top left, I think, is Portsmouth, Ohio, and I love what they've done. They put this wall up, and they wanted people to just write on it. When I dream about my community, write something. What is it you wanted Portsmouth to be? And so it was a way for people to connect with their town, to fall back in love with the place that they lived. So that was important, to connect people again with their place, but also informed city leaders about what was important to the people who lived there. So that drives decisions, that drives resource allocations. It was a simple idea. And that's a nice trash receptacle, not some nasty, dinged up black trash can. That's a nice trash receptacle. Those details matter, and they're easy to do. So what are communities saying about American Bloom? Thank you for helping us be the best that we can be. You brought our community together, and it's the best decision we ever made. All right, I'm going to share a few more pictures. I know that everybody's on a schedule, but I do want to, some of these pictures I think will inspire you some more about what communities are doing around the country. Athens, Ohio on the left is those ugly, crosswalk boxes. They wrap them in vinyl. There's other materials out there now, but these are cheap ways to dress up some infrastructure things. Very simple to do. Top right is Calabasas, California. That's where the rich and famous live. That's where the Kardashians live. They've been involved with American Bloom. They have resources beyond anything we can imagine, right? The people who live there are fabulous, and they want Calabasas to be the best that it can be. And we're helping them be even better. Right below it is Clyde, Ohio, a 180-degree difference in resources from Calabasas. But the people who live in Clyde, Ohio care as much about their town as the people of Calabasas do. They have to go about it differently. And American Bloom, then when we would work with Clyde, Ohio, we're going to work with them differently than we might with Calabasas. Same with your community. I love this on the left. I don't remember what community it is, but they've done a wonderful job with signage, and you know, that's educational. And once people understand where they are, I think they feel more connected to it and want to protect it, perhaps less likely to put litter down because now they understand more about what this place is. We want to really help communities turn forgotten places into remarkable spaces. Fairhope, Alabama is on the bottom left. Anybody been to Fairhope? We were there, I was there in in February for a meeting, and I had a chance to talk to the mayor, and we toured around the city, and a question was asked, what's your marketing budget like? And she says, we don't have a marketing budget, we plant our marketing dollars. Amazing. They knew the power of flowers, that if they had a beautiful community, it would attract people. And now it's a thriving tourist town on the Gulf Coast. We plant our marketing dollars. Volunteers, we need people to help. Yeah, as I mentioned at the beginning, municipal staff cannot do it all. Volunteers are critical to making change happen in towns and cities of any size. Morro Bay, California has figured out how to get volunteers. They do it 2 hours at a time. What they do is they use social media and they'll promote that, say, let's on Thursday at 2, we're going to be at the corner of Main and State Street. And we're either going to paint, we're going to pick up trash, we're going to plant flowers, we're going to whatever it is. Show up for 2 hours. So people will show up, and the committees already has the paintbrushes, the shovels, the gloves, or whatever it is. People show up for 2 hours. The bell rings at the end of 2 hours. Everybody goes home. And so they're always, every week, they do a call out, but they only ask people to give 2 hours a month. We can all give 2 hours a month to help our community. So 2 hours at a time, they've transformed Morro Bay. They've made it so simple. In fact, on the left is Morro Bay. Remember the movie Finding Nemo? Dory, the forgetful fish? She at one point in the movie says that she was from Morro Bay, California. I thought that was so cool. On the right is Lewisburg, West Virginia. That looks like a garden center. It's a restaurant. This owner knew that if he made the restaurant nice looking on the outside, it would attract people in. Think about your own behavior. If you're going to pick between a beautiful looking restaurant and a not so beautiful restaurant, you're going to probably go to the beautiful one because you think the food inside's better. And so, plants are pretty. Washtuckna, Washington is on the left. We saw that video of Castle Rock, Washington, on the one that's at the base of Mount St. Helen. They're on the west side of the state, where it's lush and green. But you cross the mountains in Washington and you're to the east side, it's going to look very, very different. So this is Washtuckna. 200 people maybe live there. They are they're a hoot. They are funky, odd, and weird, and those are their words. They love being funky, odd, and weird. And American Bloom wants them to celebrate that even more. And I want every community to celebrate who you are, even if you're funky, weird, and odd. This is on the left as an example, again, of using vinyl wraps to cover up some ugly infrastructure. Those are really simple, affordable things you can do. On the right, Lexington, Kentucky. They knew they needed more seating throughout the city, so they instead of just putting benches out though, they wanted to take it up a notch. So they partnered with the Arts Council, and they asked local artists to paint the benches to reflect a book that was important to them. So now you have all these storybook benches around the city of Lexington. Well, people wanted to see where all the benches were. Aha, another trail. So the city put the map on the website so people could go see all the benches. This is tourism. This is beautification. This is money. All right, my last photo. Anybody been to Holland, Michigan? Right? Anybody seen this exhibit? I love this. This is a wonderful example of partnership and collaboration. Holland has been involved, I think Holland got involved and maybe started getting involved in 2010 in America in Bloom. So they realized they had a connection to this famous book. L. Frank Baum, the author, wrote part of the book in 1908 when he was vacationing in Holland. When they realized that, they said, I think we can do something with this. Holland loves their flowers, in particular their tulips, but they love their flowers. It's a gorgeous city, and I'd like to think that American Bloom has helped them get to that point. So what they did is they had the Convention and Visitors Bureau, kudos to them, who saw the vision, and they said, we'll put the seed money up to buy the structure. This is a metal structure. It's from a Canadian manufacturer called CAD Reform, if you're interested. So partner number one is the Convention and Visitors Bureau, who put the seed money up to buy the frame. The plants were planted by partner number two, the college, Hope College. So the college planted it, grew the plants, and actually put all those little plants in the frame. Partner three is the city park, where it now sits. Well, how in the world are you going to pay for this, right? Because the seed money helped only did the frame. Then you got to pay for the rest of that. So they sold bricks. Well, what color are those bricks going to be, right? They're yellow. So $100 at a time. Each brick is $100, and it has your name on it. And they sold so many bricks, so many bricks. Paid for that project easily. And they were scared. This is dreaming big to do something like this. They were really nervous, but they felt the fear and did it anyway. And $100 at a time, they paid for this project, and it was so remarkable, and they had all these $100 bills coming in all the time, that they found another partner. Oops, oh no, I didn't put the slide in. Shoot. Well, the Yellow Brick Road crosses the street, and it goes into the library. So now you have another partner. And in the library now, I'm really bummed I don't have the photo because it's so cool. They have the bronze statues of the characters as they are in the book. It is so cool. They did all this $100 at a time. So they call this the Oz Project, and now it is just a remarkable thing that brings tourists to them. Plants are pretty, but they're more than pretty. So anyway, what questions might you have?
And what I'm going to do is, so we can get it on the Zoom, because we've got a bunch of people on Zoom. I'm going to walk around with this, so if you want to ask a question, please raise your hand. I'll bring the mic over so our Zoom people can hear the questions and the answers. Any questions? Okay, let me walk on over for you. Make sure that this is working. Yes. Excellent.
So after the installation and the community, what about funding for replanting, taking care of the plants, watering the plants in the structure?
Yeah, this is still a collaboration now between the city Parks Department, and the college.
Other questions?
Originally, I think originally the Convention and Visitors Bureau was sort of the lead on this. They handled all the money collection for the fundraising, and then when they met the goal and this thing launched, then they turned it over.
Other questions? Yeah, hi.
Who actually makes the decision to participate?
That's a great question, and there's no right answer because every community does it differently. Sometimes it's a volunteer who's the cheerleader and wants to sort of like rally the troops to make their town better. Sometimes it's a city manager And sometimes it's the mayor who knows they need to do something to show growth, to show commitment to change and beautification. So there's no right or wrong answer. If you are just a resident who loves your town, you can make things happen through American Bloom. If you're an elected official, if you are an economic development director, if you are in tourism, if you're a public works person, doesn't matter.
And is this something like a homeowners association could just do for their homeowners association? It's like, I'm looking at this going, gosh, could you come to my house? Or.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Church or a
yes,
community center where it doesn't involve the whole township, but it's something.
Yeah, that's, we don't do it often because that's typically not what we do, but yes, we would. We have done small, just business districts, for example, like don't see the rest of our town, just focus on our business district, or military base come, that's unique, so we've done that. We're now working in Chautauqua communities. They're very different than a municipality. So yes, if you have a homeowners association, we'd be happy to come in, and our advisors will come in, and which case, what we would talk to you about would be very specific to the residents and perhaps how you work with the city, but we won't really focus then on municipal services per se. And, but yes, we're here to help you. Because when your neighborhood changes, then the neighborhood beside you changes. And every neighborhood gets better and the city catches on like, well, maybe we need to be doing something different with our downtown. Plants are pretty, but they're more than pretty. And this is when your yard is more beautiful, then your home is more valuable when you want to sell it.
Laura, just to kind of follow up on that, what would you say are the best first steps if we're interested in getting involved? Do we want to build a coalition here in the town, or can we just approach you? What are the first steps to kind of get going if we have ideas?
Yeah, I think each of you is so unique. I really would just love to have one-on-one conversations with you to learn more about your community and what you hope to achieve. If you happen to know sort of what your community is doing, that's a little helpful to me, but if you don't know it, that's fine. It is just, every community is so unique, and so we'll approach it differently. The first step really is go to the website and learn really how it works. And we have we call it 6 steps to involvement. That might, those are, and I think actually they might be in the brochure. It does help if you can sort of start with a committee, because one person can be the cheerleader, but you need people, you need help. And so if you can form a broad committee, maybe somebody who really loves flowers, maybe get a master gardener, somebody who loves trees, somebody from the Historical Society. If you can get someone from your Parks Department on it, if you can happen to get a mayor or a city manager or the city clerk, somebody who's connected to the municipality, that's always helpful. Not necessary, especially first year. First year is just get involved and start making slow changes. What we find is the longer you're involved, you have just more input because people start seeing change, and once they start seeing something, they want to be a part of it. Like Logan, for example. It started with a small group of people, and now they've got all kinds of people. They have youth, they have people of all ages involved. It starts small, and then it grows into something because they see change, and now they want to be a part of it.
Laura, how do you see a group like America in Bloom? So you look at Canton, and you've got, active Parks Department. They're doing a forestry program right now. There's a lot of active pieces throughout the community. What's the advantage of AIB coming in and kind of coordinating a plan in a place like Canton?
Well, Canton with 85,000 people is going to be very different than a town of 1,000. So the approach will be very different. With Canton, our meetings, when we come in, our meetings will be different. We'll talk more in depth with your parks and public works people. Whereas in a small community, we might spend more time with the volunteers. I think I'm not answering your question specifically, but I think maybe it speaks to just how unique each community is and how we approach it.
Basically what I'm hearing is just contact you, and get an active constituency, whoever it is, and say, hey, we want to get involved, and then kind of brainstorm with you?
Yeah, I'm happy to do Zoom meetings, and you guys are close. Columbus isn't far, and I can come up and meet with your community, and we can talk about your community specifically, and I can give you some ideas on maybe who to bring into that first meeting to learn more about how the American Bloom program works and how we can help a community of your size.
Other questions? Can you talk a little bit about cost? So
Yeah, there is a registration fee. It ranges, the starting price is $1,500, and most communities will fall in that range unless you're a large community. Canton might be $1,900, okay? Most communities, it's $1,500, and that helps us offset some of our fees. We pay for the advisors to fly in, because our advisors are from around the country, so we pay for them to fly in. We do ask you to put them up in hotels or private lodging. That helps us out a little bit. But you don't have to feed them unless you're having like a group lunch, for example, then sure, invite them into that lunch. But the cost is nominal. And then that report you're gonna get, as I mentioned, we've been told is a $50,000 report, so.
A shameless plug for you.
yes,
So, for those of you who don't know, Dave started this on his own. Like you said, how do you get started? He just started and said, I like wildflowers. I want to help the environment. And now he's got this nonprofit. And if you drive around our community, you're going to see his beautiful wildflower gardens that people are going into and taking graduation pictures. People are meditating out there. You got to start somewhere.
that's one thing I would like to talk to you about is becoming a resource too, as we identify the forestry department or my nonprofit, let you know we're here so you can start to kind of plug us in as other people come to you. I mean, I see all of our constituencies here as maybe letting Laura know what we're doing, so when something comes up, she can say, hey, I know these people in Canton that do that.
That's a great idea. I would love to use, you guys are doing some really great things in this part of the country, let alone in Michigan. And so we're always trying to educate our advisors about other things. So when they go into communities, they can say, in Canton, they're doing this. You could do this. And so, yes, I'd love to learn about what you're doing.
Do you have to like start with like a place, like let's say schools? Say, we want to make the schools more beautiful, but also, like that book thing, or, even at our Canton Library, how we have the flowers are planted that say read.
Yes.
Even, do you have to come into it with a specific, like?
No, in fact, most communities come in with they haven't done a darn thing, and they know they need to. And so our advisors will come in and assess where the community is and then give them ideas on how to get better. If you have no flower program, for example, then they're gonna give you some ideas on how to get going and get started. Also give you some pretty audacious goals as well. But if you already have existing programs, then we're gonna talk to you about those, how to make them better and how to institute new programs, because you already have obviously some processes in place that you can take on more, whether it's a volunteer, municipal, or a collaborative effort. So you don't have to have an existing project.
Other questions?
I love that you're using the reed. That's so great. Can you send me a picture?
Right across the street.
Is it? Okay, I'll have to look on my way out then. Take my own picture.
I'm not sure if it's planted yet, but.
And is this a multi-year thing that there's previous pictures? If someone can send me a picture, I'm going to include that in my PowerPoint. So when I do these, I'm going to talk about what you're doing here. Again, you're doing remarkable things. People could replicate what you're doing. That's so cool.
Yep. Oh, let me come over for the mic so people online can hear.
I saw it between the library and this area. There's a little bit garden area. They planted all different kind of flowers. I was so amazed. I said, I don't know who did it? It didn't happen before. Maybe it did before, but I didn't notice. It's beautiful. They did it. They put all kind of flowers and stuff like that. That was very good. I think maybe it's this program.
No, you're not a plant. This isn't a plant. That was us. Thank you. I'm glad you like. Yeah, no, we've planted about 7 acres in Plymouth and Canton over the last 4 years. So that was one of those. Yeah, so I'm really glad you like it. But coordinating us with what you're doing too, and having someone come in and kind of tie it all together, I feel kind of in Canton like we're all siloed quite a bit. So it'd be nice to maximize our impact. Yes.
So people know where to look for it? Well, I mean, I just. Has that trick or treat map, maybe something like that could be made with their help.
We just had that master plan thing passed. I mean, this would be something that incorporates into the master plan because, I mean, how do you work around construction? There's a good question because we keep talking about Ford Road, right? And one of these days, God help us all, Ford Road is going to go under construction, and I'm sure it's going to be beautiful when it's done and safer, but how do you work around that?
I can say the master plan, just from my perspective, pollinators, more pollinator gardens was a part of it. The community feedback that they got, they liked the flowers. So we just did a master plan, a 10-year master plan, and they asked for the last year suggestions from the community. And that was one of the ones that came up. So that's encouraging. It wasn't me that did it, but the community saw the benefit of some of the things that had been done.
There's a pollinator pathway, which is like a national or international map that tracks all of the pollinator gardens. That might be an opportunity to easily track all of yours so that people who want to visit can see all those. Yeah.
I didn't know about
Called
that.
Pollinator Pathway.
Okay, great.
And we have a chapter. We started the chapter concept of American Bloom. We started seeing clusters of participation, and we saw that we had a cluster in the Orlando, Florida area, so we started a chapter. So that's about 12 different cities. So they get together every quarter. The American Bloom committees from those 12 cities get together, and they talk about what they're doing for their American Bloom program, and then also ways that they can work together. And then so they realized they had these pollinator gardens, so they said, well, why don't we all map ourselves on the pollinator pathway, because they really wanted to promote Lake County as a whole, just north of Orlando. And so this is just an example of even if you have a pollinator garden and if you consider your home garden to be pollinator friendly, you can track that on the pollinator pathway. Also, American Bloom we haven't officially rolled it out. It's on the website though, but we haven't officially announced it. We have a certification program where you can certify your residents, your business, your church, your school, or if you happen to have a public garden, you can certify those as being not so much sustainable like big organic. It's a certification program where you can say, we believe in these principles, and we're going to show that through our landscaping in our yard, our church, our place of worship, for example. That's a certification program that you can do right now. That's just something we're rolling out.
That's great.
So you're probably like the first to know it.
So we'll have links to this too, because you signed up online. We'll be sending out links to the website too, so we'll make sure we highlight some of those things. One last plug here, and I know want to be cognizant of time. I'm on the sustainability committee for Canton, so if you have ideas for how we might work together or projects, anything, let me know. We can bring it to the sustainability committee, and we've got the township supervisor, Anne Marie's a part of it. We meet every 2 weeks, so it's a nice way to build some momentum. If she sees people in the community really care about or really want a certain project, we can get right to the top and see if we can get her on board for it. So I encourage you to reach out to me. I've got plenty of business cards if you don't have my information, and let me know any ideas that you might have. So I think that's probably it, unless anybody else has a question. We'll probably wrap it up. But thank you all for coming. Laura, thank
Thank you so much. It's really been such a pleasure to be here. I'll stick around if you have questions or anything.
Thank you also, Laura, for providing lunch.
Oh, you're welcome. Bon appetit.
I sent you that photo of the library.
Great, thank you.